What's up, everybody? My name is Mad Chef, and today we're here for our week one, excitingly enough, of the BBR Summer Scramble. This week we're going up against Archer and the Appleton Wigglytuffs. Super scary team. We have an Iron Valiant and Mandibuzz duo, funnily enough. Super scary team. Today, as you can see, I'm recording this in a voiceover. Unfortunately, the main footage and reaction for it was lost. Tried to recover it, was able to recover the actual footage itself, but not the audio for the microphone. So today I'm doing a voiceover. This is a great lead for us. This Manaphy obviously can't stay in, so honestly, really nice. It's in this moment where I had to choose, do I want to reveal the Brave Bird now, or do I want to wait? And I decided to wait, since this swap here is pretty obvious. No way he stays in on Manaphy right now, even if it is set up or even if it is bulky. No way he's taking 50% right now, especially since I have Speed and kill him the next turn. So I made the call that he's going to swap and just click U-turn appropriately, which he does. Next coming out is the Cookin. So this is the exact situation we're prepping for. Depending on what his build is, that calc might have showed him a physical invest. It just depends on whether or not how much his investment is in defense. But from that, he could garner a more physical leaning or have some physical investment. Here I was deciding making the call of Bandit Arcanine does really well against this team by clicking buttons, but in the end I decided to go into Mamoswine since it's unlike Arcanine, they might stay in and try and do something. For Mamoswine, they specifically are going to hard swap out and also not chilly reception, which is important, giving us an opportunity to get those rocks up. And like we said, rocks up means that he cannot get rid of them. So back out comes Manaphy. Which is fine for us, those rocks are now up and they are staying up. Going out into Bingchilling, which is our Dragalge. It's AV Dragalge. It takes wonderful hits from setup Manaphy and from Blood Moon. It can live EPs even at +1, and then Dragon Tail each of those setup mons out. Plan is, once we get hazards up, to keep dealing chip to these things and not letting them get momentum up before we kill them with something else on the team. So that was the play, is just don't even let this thing get the opportunity. Swap out. If it wants to take heart right now, then immediately swap out. Don't let it get too crazy. Because even after +1 with AV and Ice Beam, we are chewing it. So that's the game plan. And so Dragalge comes in, and it is all wonderful and well and good until knocks off. So what this told me right here in the game is that he's not as much a setup as he is a utility set. The AV being gone is unfortunate for potentially Blood Moon. It means we're going to have a little bit of a harder time dealing with that thing. But still not out of hand yet, obviously. We have many options to deal with it. Especially once we get other hazards up, the Stealth Rocks and Spike combination is going to be great. Swaps back out into Cookin. And we just Dragon Tail that thing right back out. A little bit of, I mean, He's gonna regenerate back up to full, but we're gonna get Rock's chip on something else that wants to come in. And what ends up coming in is that Torterra. So we pulled out that Torterra early, so we're gonna be able to see if it has the leftovers, which it does not. So from that, I surmise that it's probably Shell Smash White Herb instead of a bulky Terra set. So I swap into our dedicated answer for it, which is this Bramblegast, which I don't know if you could see, but you'll see in a moment. We have no attacks on this Bramblegast. We are Strength Sap, Leech Seed, Disable, and Spikes this week. This Bramblegast is all about just getting residual chip with Rocky Helmet on that Torterra. We want to make sure it gets in range of our Scarf Kilowattrel's Brave Bird. And Disable is there since he's probably going to be running Terra Stab plus Earthquake, or Ground Move of some kind, since Grass isn't very good on my team. So that Disable is there for that reason. Makes swapping, and I no longer have to predict which move he's going to go for. I'm going to know for a fact. He swaps out. He decides it's not time to Shell Smash yet. Probably because he didn't want it. He feared the Draco Meteor coming out. And then on that, I just clicked Flip Turn. Oh, I didn't click Flip Turn. I just hard swapped. That's right. That's right. Bramblegast comes out, my son, my boy. And here is just an opportunity to get up spikes. I'm really bulky this week. I have max HP with nearly max defense and then some extra special defense investment for Manaphy. But yeah, this is just an opportunity to get up some spikes. And here comes the coughing. Definitely, this is his Mamoswine answer, so I know for a fact this thing is physically invested. Don't want to take a poison move, though. So, debating here what the plan is. But I decided it's not worth taking a poison move right now, simply due to the fact that I need Bramblegast around for that Torterra in the back. So I go ahead and go out into Arcanine. Doge is dead. This Banded Arcanine does wonderful damage. If his Manaphy was not a bulky set, it does great damage even. That is the most unfortunate part, is that now I am in range of a potential second one with a Poison or Flare Blitz chip. So that one was really unfortunate because with this banded set, I two-shot completely coughing. So it's unfortunate. I have to make a call here whether I want to risk, I think it's a potential roll for Gunk Shot, and depending on the poison. So I can either lock myself into Raging Fury and then let Manaphy set up on me, or I can Flare Blitz, hope he low rolls, and then Flare Blitz again. So that's what I decided to do. I decided to Flare Blitz since I don't want to, even if I kill this thing, I don't want Manaphy to get free setup turns, especially now that AV is gone. I can't, it's probably a bulkier Manaphy, but I still want to make sure it doesn't get a setup for free. And then Arcanine goes down, which is unfortunate. Like I said, Arcanine did a lot of work this game. That crit really, really made things more difficult than it needed to be. That's the game we play. That's the game we play. It's not the end of the world. This coughing now is really chipped, and once coughing goes down, Mamoswine has a lot of value in this matchup. So that's my thought process. I go ahead and go into Kilowattrel, and at this point with its health, it either lets this thing die, or he's going to take a lot of chip on something else. So it is time for that Terra Brave Bird. Look at the coughing looking up like, oh god, oh jeez. This little guy. Can't believe he got a kill. It's kind of crazy. Arcanine was a good boy, but he's dead, just like Dogecoin, so it comes for a circle, I guess. Gloking comes in. This is why we thought Gloking was going to be here for this Kilowattrel specifically as an answer for it, especially defense-wise, which is why when this Brave Bird pops, we will see some delicious, delicious damage. Fantastic, Mon. And here comes that Brave Bird. Yeah, this week Flying was really, really unresisted by his team, so Terra Flying it had to be. And look at that delicious damage on that Gloking. That Gloking gets two-shot by my Kilowattrel. Fantastic, fantastic damage. At this point, I believe I'm just checking checking some damage rolls, seeing if he has any physical investment, because that'll help with Mamoswine later, but also deciding if I wanted to double out or not on a swap, which I didn't. I decided if he wants to stay in and set Glow King, that's really valuable for me, or I'll just get damage on something else, which is what he decided to do. Originally, I thought this was going to be really offensive with some speed investment, Ursaluna. So this was going to be a big count for me to determine what kind of Ursaluna this is, and turns out it's a very physically bulky set, which now I know that it's definitely a Calm Mind Moonlight variant, if it's running physical bulk like that. So I decide to, on a potential recovery or a potential setup, to go into, I believe I go into Dragalge here. So I can Dragon Tail if he decides to try and set up. Yes, indeed. That is indeed what happened. Witching Moonlight's here. I mean, in that situation, there's no reason for him not to, because if I decide to hit him again with Kilowatt Drop, I'm going to be the one taking damage. So from here, I decide if I want to Draco for damage right now, and then Dragon Tail, or if I just want to Dragon Tail immediately. I decided to try and get some damage off. Put him in range of a few things if he decides to kill me this turn. No, he's just going to Calm Mind. But regardless, I'm going to do massive damage with a Draco. This is a misplay here. I should have just clicked Dragon Tail on this turn. Another mistake in building pops up here. I should have also toned it down with some of the Spectre investment to try and outspeed a min speed Ursaluna. I just let min speed rock on Dragalge, but in hindsight, for a situation like before that Calm Mind, that Draco would have done amazing. Dragon Tail I'm not super worried about. My thought was Dragon Tail is what I'm going to mainly click, and regardless of what I click Dragon Tail on, I'm not going to outspeed. But now you've seen a situation like that with a misplay in game. If I had clicked Dragon Tail immediately into this thing, I could have killed it with a Draco at neutral. But now that I'm -2, a Draco is not going to kill. So I flip turn. Worthwhile to get a little bit of chip on this thing if I can. Try and keep it low with that regenerator. Luckily for me, this cloaking is becoming less and less of an issue due to the build, which was something that I was really afraid of, just being stonewalled my team by this cloaking. But luckily we're able to keep it low, keep its options locked. This one would also be great for us to see if it's carrying a Psychic Stab or not. Here I go into, I believe, Brambleghast to try and set up more spikes, since because of my bulk I will live anything it wants to go for. Yes, the thought process with the spikes play here is that I want to, that Ursaluna, I want to keep forcing it out, and every time it gets forced out, if I can get 3 layers of spikes plus Stealth Rock up, Future Sight as well, so it's only carrying that as its Psychic Stab, which is good to know. But I want to get as many hazards up as possible before there's a Glow King, as well as for that Ursaluna in the back. I need to keep that thing in range of a potential Iron Valiant later, since it has bulk to it. This thing comes back out. Like I said, we're no attack, so here, this to me here just looks like a free Spike City. So right now I'm really trying to prioritize getting that 3 layers of spikes up, which I believe is what I end up doing here, correct? Yes, and at this point only spikes have been revealed, so I'm kind of rocking and rolling with it. And that is 3 layers of spikes plus a Stealth Rock set up on the opposing field, which is good for me. And this thing mementos, so this thing kills itself. Now, I'm thinking, my thought process here is Shell Smash is coming out, or Ursaluna is going to come back out and try and set up. One of those two are coming out right now. I think it's too early for Booster, but best case scenario, Torterra comes out is what the hope is. Which, luckily for us, is indeed what he decides to do. He decides now is the time for Shell Smash. which is a wonderful chip from those spikes in Stealth Rock now that it's at about, I want to say 60%. Now here my thought process, I'm deciding what I'm going to do to cripple this thing, and I end up going with Strength Sap, because if it's not leftovers, chances are it is White Herb. So Strength Sap will get my health back so we can live potential hits, as well as deal some Rocky Helmet damage, as well as get rid of that White Herb so it has that defense drop later for that Scarf Kilowattrel. So we'll see if my predict is true, is indeed, not less so prediction, more so a call, which it is. Not a hard call to make, it's pretty normal for Shell Smashers to run the right herb. So we get back to full health, and he gets a +1 in his attack stat. Since he was at -1, or no, he's at +2 because the White Herb. Right. Yeah, so he's at +2 now. Now I have to make a call. Do I Leech Seed on his Terra, or do I disable his potential move he wants to go for? I decided to disable. I'm hoping here that he goes for a Fairy-type move instead of a Ground-type move, because if he ends up going for... Spoilers, he is Terra Fairy. I love that the Terra Crown is on the tree, by the way. That's just a little cute. But I'm hoping he goes for Terra Blast here, which he does. Now that that's disabled, it's a risk. He could also be Head Smash, but I disabled that. Now, from my belief is that he is locked into a either Grass or a Ground type move. So I decided to make the call, go into Bird Up, since at this point with the Scarf, even if it's +2, I'm still outspeeding it. And with that -1, thankfully, because the White Herb didn't pop, I kill it from this range. Brambleghast did its job. It really crippled that Torterra, so it can't do a lot of nonsense. So, weird Bramble set this week, but, you know, rocking and rolling. Yep, and here's the Headlong Rush. So it's the ground move decides to come out, which is perfect for me. I just get to freely Brave Bird now. Now something has to take a Brave Bird. Chances are, because of Spike's damage and such, that he's just going to let this thing go ahead and die. I'm starting at this point to realize that running just mono Brave Bird instead of Brave Bird Terra Blast on this was not the greatest idea. Since I'm taking a lot of chips, since I'm killing things from really high up, which is great, but at the same time, I'm taking a lot of that recoil damage. So at this point, I'm starting to realize that I can't play for the Kilowattrel endgame just because of health longevity. I gotta use Kilowattrel less frequently than I would like. But here, it's Brave Bird regardless. Right, there's nothing he can really swap into for Brave Bird, even if he wants to Ursaluna at this point with Spikes and Stealth Rock. He's going to be within range for a potential 2-shot. It will be a roll. We traded calcs later, and at this point, so I understand why he didn't go into that. It might have. I actually don't know. Ursaluna might have lived 2 guaranteed from that range if it swaps in. But regardless, he decides to sack Torterra. You can tell how much this Ursaluna is on my mind in this match. This Ursaluna is very, very, very scary. Blood Moon is just a ridiculous move. Yeah, here comes the Ursaluna now. Blood Moon is just a ridiculous move coming off of Mind's Eye since Brambleghast isn't immune. Which is a shame. Yeah, here is the swap out into Dragalge. Which, if I remember correctly, he Moonlights here, yep. He's just playing that recovery game, he's playing that longevity until the moment comes, which there's nothing really I can do about. So I decided to Dragon Tail if he wants to set up in front of me. But he decides just to go for the kill on Dragalge, and since my AV got knocked, good knockoff from him, my AV got knocked, so I'm not going to live that hit, which is unfortunate. So, Dragalge's dead. I decide this is the make it or break it moment. If I can't kill this Ursaluna soon, then it's going to be a really hard time for me to win this game. So I end up, after doing some calcs, Icicle Spear won't kill, but a Blood Moon, like a neutral Blood Moon, has a 6.3% chance to kill me in return. So I might get those 2 turns. So I decide to go ahead into the Ice Age and take that roll. From what I was calcing, since I was calcing with a different item, I also saw that I had a potential to kill with 5 Icicle Spears, even if it was a max bulky set, which I was just calcing the wrong item on that. But regardless, I also saw in the calc he had a under 10% chance to kill me with Blood Moon, so I decided I'll take that. Even if I don't kill, I'll kill the next turn since I naturally outspeed, and this Blood Moon will be gone. So I go ahead and throw him off. Even all 5 never kill, since I was calculating with Life Orb. With Life Orb, getting all 5 might have killed, but I was really dice. And here comes the Blood Moon, and he gets the 6.3. That was probably, out of anything that happened in this game, that was the deal breaker right there. RGB comes out with the attack. I am positively blowing this thing away with the close combat. I debate going for a Spirit Break, but I didn't calc it, but I thought with the bulk it has, it might live a Spirit Break and then just murder me, and I didn't want that to happen. I'll also find out later that the original intention was this to be booster speed instead of booster attack. Ended up just ginned out. That was my mulligan, ginned out wrong. But luckily for me, because I'm attacked, I'm able to get this kill on Father Bear. So, not really a mulligan. I mean, we'll just call it I just prepped really well. But in reality, I should have been booster speed instead of attack. But because we were booster attack, we were able to break through the Chockle. I ended up calcing that later. Like, if I was speed, would I have killed? And I actually wouldn't have killed from there if I was speed. So, luckily for me, I wasn't. But now what that means is that kind of stuck against his Iron Valiant. Don't really have an answer to it. Since I'm booster attack, my speed, I'm not going to even risk a speed tie since I'm not maxed. So he's just going to get the kill on that. Sucks, but at the moment I thought just let this thing go down and go into Bird Up and get that kill. Hindsight, I probably should just sack Brambleghast, but you know, hindsight's 20/20. In the middle of the match, the thought process was, oh, I need Kilowattrel to come in. I'll just let this thing go into Kilowattrel. That way I have Brambleghast in the back for shenanigans, but it just wasn't great on the shenanigans. Like I said, this game really has started to come down to some misplays on my part. However, we have a really close game. This Kilowattrel is carrying me on its back in this matchup. This Kilowattrel is doing nasty damage, especially with hazards being up. This Kilowattrel is able to do some absolute nasty damage to things. And now I'm in the predicament of Brave Bird will kill me before I can kill his team. So unfortunate as it is to say, I think anyone who is astute as a viewer will understand that we do end up losing this game. This game is a loss. Not really spoilers at this point. Big thing is here, if the Brave Bird wasn't Brave Bird, was instead Terra Blast, then I would be good to go. I would clean up this game, actually. At this position with this Kilowattrel, Terra Blast would just clean up the game, pick up these last 3 kills, and we'd win. See, like a lot of these, even with the things that happen with the roll on Mamoswine, with the crit on Arcanine, I wouldn't call this a hacksy game. What I would call this game is just a little bit of ineptitude on my end. Lots of things I could have done differently, lots of things I should have done differently. Big ones were that Iron Valiant, I'll leave as that because the attack actually helped us out. But what I will say is definitely a mistake on our end was letting that thing die to the opposing Iron Valiant instead of sacking Bramblegast. Sacking Bramblegast would have made things a little bit easier because then we would have still had a win con in the back. We could have done some more things there. Another big one was Dragalge speed creeping. Should have speed crept that a little bit. And the big one, the one that ended up losing us this game in the end. 3 strikes, right? Got 1 strike with the Iron Valiant play, 2 strikes with the Dragalge build, and 3rd strike with the Kilowattrel build of the No Terra Blast. Really fantastic game, though. It was really close. The Archer is a wonderful, wonderful battler. I've heard nothing but good things about him before I went into this match. So, definitely was intimidated going into this match, I'll tell you what. My pool is crazy, full of some crazy players. So, the fact that I was able to make it this close was awesome to me. It was really cool. Yeah, Kilo comes in, and I'm going to be able to claim this kill, but I'm not going to be able to claim any past that, unfortunately. Yeah, so it's going to end up being a 2-0 on us. Like I said, a really close game. Especially, this is my first Wi-Fi draft game ever, so I was super hyped about this. It was a super fantastic match. I learned definitely some things. Learned some more things about some building. Take more time. A lot of it was getting that building process was intense, right? I've never built for Wi-Fi before, and it just had a different weight to it. So, but yeah, we claim that Manaphy kill. Kilowattrel goes down. Kilowattrel only dies when he decides to. But Bird Up goes down. Really crazy match, Really a fun match, though. Let that soundtrack go crazy. That is our first week. Our week end up in that first week on a loss. So we're going in to week 2 at 0-1 at -2. Not horrible. Definitely can come back. Just puts a lot of pressure. This next week, if we end up losing this next week, we're out of the cutoff range for Phase 2 of the BBRSS. So, lots of pressure. But thank you guys so much for watching. Again, sorry about the voiceover, but, you know, first week, getting in the swing of things. Next week, we'll have our Week 2 match up against Burning and the New York Durants, I believe. So, I'm super excited for that. Got some heat cooking up for that as well. Some heat, maybe not equivalent to physical Kilowattrel, but some pretty good heat nonetheless. So, I'll definitely see you guys then. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Really want to start trying to grow this out, feel it out, see what I want to do, you know? So, yeah, definitely like and subscribe. Make sure to come back for more as well.